We got to go to 'em on ESPN tonight. The top two teams in the league, they go head-to-head. The Thunder at the Pistons, then the Celtics, they're in Denver to take on Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. We'll get you started with NBA Countdown. That's at 7 o'clock Eastern. But let's talk about it now because Jamal Murray, first-time All-Star, he's averaging career highs in points, in assists, and threes. He's just one of two players averaging 25 points, 5 assists on 40% shooting from beyond the arc this season. Who's the other player, you might ask? Well, that would be his teammate, right? Nikola Jokic, the only other duos in NBA history to put up those numbers for an entire season. That would be KD and Kyrie, that was in Brooklyn, and KD again with Steph Curry in Golden State. And then as for the Celtics, Jaylen Brown is just over 29 points a game. They are on pace to be the third most in Celtics history. And with Boston on the road tonight, it is worth mentioning that Brown is on pace to be the first player in Celtics history to average 30 points per game on the road. But will he play tonight? It is the second night of a back-to-back for Boston. So for more, we welcome in our senior insider, Shams Charania. Shams, what is the latest with Jaylen Brown, who was out yesterday with that right knee contusion?
Malika, Jaylen Brown is in. He will be playing tonight in Denver, the second night of a back-to-back. And last night they were able to rest him, sit him. He's only missed 6 games all season. He's been as durable as they come on this MVP caliber trek this season. We've seen his performances being able to lift this team, and he's going to take this opportunity tonight to again prove why he believes he's the MVP.
All right, so Jaylen Brown, good news for Celtics fans. He is in for this battle against Denver. But the big question all season long for the Boston Celtics is when and if they are going to see Jason Tatum. Here's what Joe Mazzulla had to say about that on Sunday.
So did Jason practice yesterday?
He was at practice.
Did he participate in any of it?
Okay, at the risk of Shams, you giving me one of those 1,000-yard stares, what is the latest on Jason Tatum?
Malika, I'm not going to stare you down like that.
Okay,
I promise you. What I can tell you, though, is Jason Tatum has been a full go in 5-on-5 scrimmages with the Celtics. And right now, it's about him continuing to put in the time, continue to get his conditioning up. And that comes through a number of practices and scrimmages. And there are 2 elements right now at play. One is increasing the strength in both of his calves off of that Achilles tendon injury. And the big hurdle of all of this is getting 100% there on the mental side, getting the confidence in his leg fully when he's back. The common theme that I've gotten from people around Jason Tatum is he will be back on the floor when JT feels like JT, quote, unquote. And that process, the Celtics have continued to let him lead that. He's in the driver's seat. They will take Jason Tatum's lead as far as when he feels like he's ready and cleared. And then eventually, Malika, a dozen people here, doctors, Celtics officials, Jason Tatum's side, Jason Tatum himself, they're going to gather in a room and get him to the point where he wants to be, which is in March. And as we get closer and closer to the playoffs, make a decision about whether he's able to make it back out on the floor.
Okay, so not only is it all of the actual benchmarks that the doctors and all of the medical staff and the training staff need to do to say, okay, Jason Tatum is physically cleared to play. There's also that last piece for Jason Tatum to say, which is a huge one. I feel like I am myself, like I am back, like I am ready. Shams, I always appreciate the insight and information, and I would always be down for a staring contest, but I do appreciate that that's not the route you went here. Just to remind everyone what's on tap tonight, it's at 10 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. These are the best 2 offenses in the NBA this season. And actually, it's not even just the season. It's 2 of the most efficient offenses that we've ever seen. We're talking about in NBA history here. Mark, what are you watching in this one?
The continued dominance of Jaylen Brown. I remember talking to Joe Mazzulla at the start of training camp, or start of the season. He said Jaylen had a great training camp. He's healthy. He wants to be coached. And obviously Jason Tatum's not there, and he's filled the void with a career high in points. But he's been more of a leader. He's been more of a mentor to these guys. He's not really trying to worry about the off-court spotlight despite the Beverly Hills thing. But he's showing more personality and showing he should be an MVP candidate.
And I don't, is anyone, at this point, I feel like we're starting to get a pretty good idea of who the Boston Celtics are. They're serious. The Boston Celtics are serious. Does anyone know who's Denver?
Well, when they got their whole team, they're serious. But here's the thing. Jokic comes back from this injury. He is still putting up amazing numbers.
Insane.
He's still leading the league in assists and rebounds. But he hasn't quite been himself this last couple of weeks. Over the last 9 games, he's averaging 5 turnovers a game.
Is part of that the wrist that he's been dealing with? It's wrapped some games, it's not wrapped other games.
You know he will never
of course not.
reference it, but clearly something is off. He doesn't turn the ball over like this. And also his shooting is down. This is a guy who was shooting almost 60% before he came back from this. He's under 50% in the last 9 games. Something's off with him. By the way, their whole team in the clutch has been subpar. Like, you get him into a clutch game, normally you got Jokic and Murray.
Especially against a shorthanded Golden State Warriors team like the other day.
They're 1 in 5 last 6 clutch games. They've got a losing record in the clutch this season. So Denver obviously need to get healthy. Their defense hasn't been strong, but their clutch play with Jokic isn't good either.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that they're looking for that final boost, and you need that momentum to carry you through the playoffs. But every time I think about the Denver Nuggets, and sorry that I picked this off, this is my octave.
Sticky.
That's my little
It always makes that little noise.
I look, and I'm always in shock because on our beautiful ESPN app, I know you can't see it, but I scroll.
Anyone can read? I can't even. I need glasses to read that little font.
I scroll, and it's like, okay, who's the leader in points? Oh, it's Jokic. Rebounds, Jokic. Assists, Jokic. Steals, 1.4 Jokic. And then you look at the graphic to start the segment. Don't sleep on this fact. Best offenses in history through 2 different ways. Even though Jokic, it may be a down year where he missed a number of games, he himself tilts he bends passes like that, but he's bending history with his talent.
Yep.
But then on the other side for the Boston Celtics, the fact that Joe Mazzulla's system can withstand the loss of someone that's all-team NBA, first-team All-NBA, someone that's an NBA champion in Jason Tatum, and still get the performance that they're getting. Don't sleep on these 2 teams. One goes through an amazing offensive player, and another is just an amazing system that has really gone through analytics and created these offenses that are juggernauts.
When I caught up with Nikola Jokic over the All-Star break, I asked him, when this team is healthy, do you believe that you are one of those ones, a team that can win a championship? And he said that there are 5 or 6 teams, he thinks the Boston Celtics, one of them, that could realistically win the championship this year. And I said, well, what about your Denver Nuggets? And he goes, we're a dark knight. A dark horse? A Dark Knight. There's a little lost in translation there. If the Joker is talking about the Dark Knight, then that's probably a good thing.
I'm picking them.
Yeah.
Exactly. But he sees them as just maybe outside of those top contenders. But we'll learn a lot tonight. So let's go head-to-head. It's brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook here. Chene, more points. I'm going to start with you. Derek White or Mr. Murray?
It's got to be Mr. Murray, especially with them having to be clutch late. I expect the ball to be in his hands. So, yeah, I'm going Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray, Shanae is going with. Brian, how about we stick with points here? Should we do Peyton Pritchard and Christian Brown?
So, look, this is the second night of a back-to-back in Denver. Historically, you're going with the Nugget here, but Peyton Pritchard,
He's been.
I'm not going to get Peyton Pritchard. I'm not doing it. I won't do it.
You hear the man. More points, Jaylen Brown or Nikola Jokic here, Mark?
Ooh, Vucevic knows him from their European days, and Nikola.
I was like, well, we're winding up here. I didn't say more of a chance at a triple-double, for the record. DraftKings has the most ways to bet on your favorite NBA teams, and all customers will receive a profit boost on any placed head-to-head market. Download the app, use the promo code SCREEN when you sign up. Coast to coast, catch you up on the action from around the NBA, starting with the Timberwolves. A little West Coast swing for them. They got a win in Portland. Anthony Edwards, 34 points. Jaden McDaniels iced the game with a lob to himself. Mark, how far can Ant take this Wolves team?
I got to see some fire. I got to see some fire from him. We know what kind of game he has, but 2 Western Conference appearances, no finals appearances. I got to see a killer mentality over this superstar.
I love this highlight, though.
That's amazing.
I mean, if you can, why not?
He also made 5 threes.
He did. Hey, how about Buzz City? They brought the heat to Chi-Town. They blew out the Bulls thanks to a huge third quarter. Shanae, can this team make the playoffs, not play in?
I'm sorry, I still
2016?
live in reality because they are 6 games back from the 6th spot, but they will make the play in and then hopefully make their way to the playoffs. Right now, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I like that their starting 5 had 16 threes. Con Canipel, 21 points in 23 minutes. They are buzzing. Wait, what's the
Bulls are down bad, man.
Yeah, they are. But we looked at their roster at the trade deadline and could have told you that. All right, how about the Sixers, though? Joel Embiid back in the lineup after missing the last 5 games. He had that leg issue. 27 points in 26 minutes for him. Brian, what did he show you?
This was a really encouraging performance because, you know, you just never know how he's going to look. He had great movement. He actually moved pretty well on defense, too, in rim protection. 20 points in the first half of this game. So picked up right where he left off that hot streak before he had to sit down with that knee issue.
Not to mention 32 from Tyrese Maxey. Shanae, you want some gumbo? Let's head to the
all day, every day.
DeJounte Murray, welcome back. He made his season debut, returning from that Achilles tear. Zion, though, he stole the show. Monster dunk, of course, en route to this one. Mark, what stood out to you?
Kudos to DeJounte Murray. It's been over a year since he played,
Absolutely.
and they put him back in the starting lineup. 13 points, had a few turnovers, but good for him to be back, especially with everything he's been going through, not only on the court, but off.
Absolutely. How about we go to Atlanta, friends? That's where Jonathan Kuminga.
Atlanta.
He was cooking in his debut.
Revenge game.
Sure, against the Wizards. Let's go to the first quarter here. Kuminga, though, gets it in transition. This is what you want to see, that athleticism on display here.
I mean, we knew that was there, but it's the smiles. We should have done a tracker of how many times he was smiling on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Evil smile, by the way.
Joy for him. And then Kuminga bringing the energy here off the steal. Oh, nice pass. And then for the slam.
The Wizards weren't smiling when they saw they had to wear those jerseys again.
The athleticism. Later in the third here, Kuminga catches it in the corner, knocks down the triple. A few months back, Hawks fan Boozy shared a tweet with Kuminga. If the Warriors don't want him, the Hawks will take him. Well, the Hawks did. 27 points off the bench, and the Hawks get the win here as Kuminga steals the show. And the joy, right? That's probably that's the most important thing besides the bench points here. Mark, what did you think?
Ansi Saleh. Do you know who that is?
Ansi Saleh.
See, before Saleh.
He's the general manager of Atlanta
Oh,
Hawks.
whoops, Lord. I thought we were going Latin.
He worked for the Warriors from 2022 to 25 and just got the GM job. So he had an inside track on what Kuminga could be for them. And Kuminga, as you said, I haven't seen him smile that much since his days with the G League Ignite. I expect him to take off. You know, Quinn Snyder, I thought, did an outstanding job getting the most out of Jalen Johnson after he spent basically his first 2 years in the G League, and I expect him to get the same. Me and Malika might differ on this. I feel like there are some groans in the Bay Area over this, but Warriors fans will probably say, all right, let's see if he could do this for a string of games, because Kuminga will give you that punch, and maybe the next game.
It's an interesting situation here. So Jalen Johnson, who's probably contender for All-NBA, he gets hurt in the first quarter of this game. Hip injury. Hopefully he's okay, but might miss some time. That opens the door for an extra minutes for Kuminga, who plays basically the same position. I would not be surprised if Kuminga now goes into the starting lineup if Jalen Johnson misses some time. And so after everything that's happened, Jonathan Kuminga this year and over the last couple of years, he's finally back from injury, and he gets this remarkable opportunity. They need him. The Hawks are not tanking. They are trying to win. They don't have their draft pick. They now need some scoring, and this could be Kuminga's time here to show his value to not only the Hawks, but to other teams in the league.
In other words, Wendy and Mark, to me, this was a perfectly petty performance. Perfectly petty performance. Now, mind you, for a debut, typically it's not that great with the Atlanta Hawks, right? He had the best debut. I'm saying just contextually, this is the best debut since 2002. He had 27 points. Prior to that, that player scored like 32. So they've been waiting for someone that is excited to be here, that wants to perform. And then on top of it, the reason why I say, look at this, like the dap
Look at
ups,
that smile.
the smile.
Yeah.
I ain't seen that in a while.
How many teeth are there after like all 32 or whatever? How many? All 24 were showing. It was not just what he did, it was how he did it. 3 for 4 from 3, multiple dunks, athleticism on display, comfortable.
And they run.
I see why some maybe Golden State Warriors fans will be like, oh.
This was Jonathan Kuminga. This is the potential that he always had. This is the flashes that he's always shown. And it is great to see a player who has that, to be able to put that on display. Good for Jonathan Kuminga. We are super glad to see him back on the floor. We got a lot to get to on this show, though. Boston.